Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the very last coffee chat for 2015. I have been writing 2016 now for the last month, which is really weird. I'm already in 2016 and thinking well ahead. I'm totally in. Hey, Karen, nice to see you. I'm totally in holiday mode. I'm actually, those of you that are on Periscope, you can't see, but I am wearing my pajamas. I've just got a black singlet on. I've just got out of bed probably half an hour ago, and I'm I have eased into finally slowing right down. The last couple of weeks, we still had some appointments happening, but what I have started saying to people is that who's saying, I want to catch up, I want to have a conversation, especially through social media, I say, here's my phone number, give me a call randomly. I don't care. I said, I don't want to be setting up any official appointments or meeting dates. I said, just take your punt and ring me, and I'm happy to have the random, calls here and there as I'm having my time off. And so that's what's been happening. I have not been booking in anything, because when I book something into my schedule, that means I have to be prepared for it, and I'm thinking about it, that it's approaching, that I got to be there on time. And that's not obviously relaxing or holiday mode. But if someone rings me out of the blue and I see my phone and I have a conversation, then I'm fine with that. What do you guys think? I think that's a what's it called, a good strategy during holiday time, and especially till the 27th of January. I have told them. Lots of people logging on through Periscope. Gotta look a little bit better just after getting out of bed. Connie, nice to see you on the call here today. So today, how these go, because there's obviously a lot of people are watching it live, but then there's lots of people through GoToWebinar. By the way, those of you that are on Periscope, we do this on GoToWebinar. So I'm just showing them our computer screen. And actually, the exciting part is outside, we have got the tradies here, and they have come to do our coping tiles. So we had tradie envy this week, because every one of our neighbours was having work done on the house, and we've been finishing this pool project in our backyard. And I have turned up today, which means the fake grass might be coming in tomorrow, and then obviously the final surfacing and filling. So I don't know if we're going to make Christmas, but look, it's all about, maybe there's a bit of Christmas magic in the air. I'm thinking. So nice to see quite a few of you saying hello. Wendy's just saying in between house stumping. Yeah. And I've been oil staining our deck as well. So what did I want to do today? Well, really, these coffee chats are for you guys, for you to pick my brain on anything that you may like to ask me around business. I never come pre-prepared. I always wait to see what comes out. And actually, I just really generally talk about what's happening within my, life and business world. Last week, I spoke about the importance of having systems, and I shared the way that I was going to write my systems, which was to record my computer screen while I'm showing my assistant to be what to do and how to do it, and then I was going to get them to transcribe it and have it and then have it all systemized, so that anyone who takes over in the future can look at that system. So what I thought about today, well, I said to you guys, you got to hold me accountable that I have finished 7 systems. Hang on a second, I'm just reading a message which is going to disappear. Christine, do you think you should keep promoting in groups and pages over Christmas and New Year's, or give it a break? There's a question from Christine that I'll just answer, and then I'll go back to the systems and then what I've been doing last week. Christine was just asking, and this is a good question for this call, since we're coming from a group where there's 12,000 members nearly. And she asked about whether you should continue promoting in the groups and interacting. Actually, I totally agree that you should promote, and not so much promote all the time, but maintain your relationships and be seen and continue to be seen. I think because we don't go out networking a lot over at least a 4 to 6 week period, from probably about end of this week till, say, maybe even mid to late January, at least a month. You need to then keep up that online networking versus offline. And I have found that I have built and generated quite a lot of business over the period of Christmas because everyone is on social media. Since they're not out and about, they're sitting by the pool, they're somewhere where they're holidaying, and they're mucking around on social media and starting to think about the decisions or the actions that they're going to take the following year. So I actually probably, that is my only task aside from little bits and pieces. And she's saying, yes, I'm launching business in January, so need lead time. Yeah, totally. So I'm launching different things in January as well. So really the promotions should start after Boxing Day. I find that a lot of people, once they're done and dusted with this pre-Christmas period where they don't want to be taking any action on things, and they're sort of spending time more with family and buying presents, after Christmas, from about the 27th, people are actually in a big planning and spending mode and wanting to obviously prepare for the new year ahead. So I'll just block that. Thank you very much. So that's my answer. You're welcome, Christine. Any other questions, just post them up, guys. If I see them come up on Periscope, I will try to read them before they disappear off my screen, but also post them up on GoToWebinar. They kind of stay up on there as well. So, and thanks for the love hearts. I love the love hearts. Thanks, guys. All right, so did I actually finish 7 systems last week? And no, I didn't. No, I didn't. I was naughty. I did not finish my 7 systems. I did one, as I said, I did the day before, and I didn't do it. But I did do something different. And what is that thing that I did different? Well, I pretty much spent all of Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, which is when our kids are in care. I spent it doing all my finances. So what I wanted to do is get my finger and my pulse on what my whole year has looked like. Of course, I have done finances every single month. So one day on Tuesday, it took me to do all the reconciliations for November to see what went in, what came out, and all that sort of stuff. On Wednesday and Thursday, though, I spent time, obviously I was out at Christmas parties as well in between all of this. But on Wednesday and Thursday, I spent the time actually going through every single month of the year and opening up my accounts and dividing the spendings into 3 categories. All right, so this is what I do. I divide them into food spending, I divide them into luxury items, and I divide them into bills because I wanted to see what is it and what was my pattern around what I spend, because I tend not to think about too much what I'm spending, how much am I spending. I kind of just go on a feeling, because that's how life is at the moment. So I did those 3 things just to see where I was at and what kind of money for tax would I have to have put aside up until this point of the halfway point of the year. Because as you guys may or may not know, we with this year was our first year to have a 6-figure tax bill, which is a big tax bill to receive all in one hit. And we will, and you've got to put aside money for tax and GST and all of those things that, the more money you make, the bigger the bills. So what used to be tens and hundreds of dollars in bills, now it's thousands, and actually probably not 1 or 2,000, more like 5 or 10,000. So every time I get a bill, it's not a few $100s. Like to me, to get a $400 electricity bill, it's almost like that's the smallest bill in the world. For me, I get bills that are thousands of dollars. So you've got to manage that kind of money all of the time. So what I spent last week, and it was really, really good. So once I finished doing the luxury, the food, and the bills segmentation of what I was spending every month. By the way, I worked out that we spend $2,200 on average every month on food. That's what I worked out. So it was interesting to see. And then some months were higher and some months were lower in terms of luxuries. Now, the third thing I did, so after I did my business reconciliations and see where we're at year to date and financial year to date and all that sort of stuff, how many open invoices, actually that's one thing I've got to do this week is chase up a couple of outstanding payments. And then the last thing I did a budget. So my budget, I lay it out on like a spreadsheet. It's a spreadsheet, obviously, in Excel. And at the top, I put in all like proposed income or what income is likely to come in, rental income, and then we've got our family expenses, so home expenses, which include things like mortgages, childcare, electricity, water, all of that kind of stuff. Then I went below and I did my business expenses, which would be say my GoToWebinar subscription, my Facebook advertising guy, all of those internet expenses that we actually have. So I got those down as well. Now, where did I find my figures from? So obviously by having done the whole year, I actually can work out what am I paying every single month, say for health insurance or for certain business items. So because I had looked through my figures so much over the previous 2 days, I kind of knew what my regular payments were. So then I mapped them out. And there's a question here in Periscope. What do you look for in an accountant? Is there some special? Is there some more specialist than others? That was from Elaine, I think. Elaine, yes, there is accountants that have different niches, and what I look for is obviously for them to be quite successful. We had an old accountant that we used to go to in the first 3 years of our business, and literally he drove a really old car. Yeah, that's okay, Elaine. That I knew it was you. I know your handle. Yes, so a really old car. I used to actually correct him in the things that he needs to remember to claim. So I was almost doing more of the work or being more mindful of what needed to be claimed and not claimed versus him actually coming up with strategies for me. My new accountant I met through a group I used to network for quite a lot, and he drives a brand new Audi, and he has a Swish office, and he's probably 4 times the price of my old accountant. But you know what? You know, he's so clever, he's so smart, he knows exactly what to do. What I also think though, you don't have to go for the most expensive accountant. Just make sure that you know he's switched on. That you don't need to ask him any questions and tell him how he needs to do his job. And certainly, you've got to be mindful. Like if your business is not at the point where it's making extraordinary amounts, so if you're not registered for GST, you don't need to be paying so much to an accountant that might charge you $2,000-3,000 for his fees the way we get charged. Like we probably spend about $5,000, if not maybe $5,000 to $6,000 on accounting every year. So so that's the stuff you got to think about. It's all relative. The more successful and the more busy and the more money that's going in and out, you got to be mindful that you're looked after, and every single strategy that can be used honestly and authentically, then it is used, and that the person knows exactly what they're doing. So that's my answer to your accountant. So we've been very happy with a current one for the last 3 years. Actually, this was the 3rd financial year he helped us out. Well, we're into the 3rd one with him. So that's what I did. And back to so I did the budgets. So then I had a predicted, obviously, expenses, like how much would need to come in to sustain the family, the business, and all that sort of stuff. And what are some other random surprise expenses that kind of occur all of the time. So it's very, very interesting to see. And what that does is it just makes you feel a lot more organized around how you see your financial situation, that you haven't been sort of living over and above your means, that everything is planned out, and that you can continue either going the same way or pull back somewhere, because there's a way where you can save somewhere to make something happen in a different way. Or as I say, just focus on getting more business in, and you'll have no issue with obviously having a cash flow. But as they say, you're welcome, Elaine. As they say, cash flow is king, and that's what I always intend to have more of rather than less of, so I never get caught out. And obviously, I always look at what open, because a lot of our clients pay us in on a payment plan, and I have a lot of open invoices and open, that's income that's going to be coming through over the coming months. And I always look at to have at least, 12 months ahead of payments, of extra payments that will be coming. So if nothing happened, say for 12 months, we'd still be okay in every aspect of our lives. But that's obviously built up over the years that we have been. Next year it'll be 6 years that we have been in business. So it's really, really awesome. So I hope that has helped. So instead of doing the systems, I did them and the finances, and I spent the whole week. And actually that just reminded me that I'm going to write in my diary that one of the things that I will do this week is follow up my outstanding invoices. I'm writing it right now. Outstanding invoices. Now, no one likes to chase money, but you got to do it. You got to do it, and you can do it in a very productive and good way. But the best thing I think you can do, not to have to chase money off people, is actually be a good person at paying your own bills. What I have found in the past is that I have found that people who themselves don't pay their bills on time and they muck around with their outstanding payments, they tend to attract people who don't pay their bills. So I generally have such a low amount of chasing up to do. I probably would have to say it's less than 1% of my clients would have to be chased up for a payment. And I think that's due to the fact that the minute I get an invoice or it hits my inbox, I pay it. There's no way, I don't wait till due dates. That's my mindset. It's like I get an invoice, I get paid, it's out and dealt with. So take on that approach if it's possible, of course, or work towards making that possible. That's why I said cash flow is king, as we know it's a famous saying. And that is how I've always managed to obviously have enough cash flow, but always do it in reverse order. So that's my little blurb of what I have achieved. So I achieved, and aside from that, you guys have seen on Facebook, I have been oiling our deck. We've been obviously making the things around our new house that need to be completed, this is the perfect time of year to do that, and really enjoy hanging out with the family. So those are the kind of things. So what other questions have you got from you, or is there anything that you'd like to share as an insight? Was there something that I said that stood out for you that you haven't thought about doing for yourself? Or even if you want to even if you want to share anything of how you do it, maybe that can give me a bit of an insight around what is it that you do. I know Davika's in the call, and she told me the other day that she used to be an accountant, and that's something that I'd be interested to know what you do, Davika. If you're in a place to type up, or do you think what I've done is a good thing? Hi, there's someone from Mississippi. Christy says, any tips on sponsored Facebook ads? Should they be happening all the time? Not necessarily, Christine. At the moment, we're on a 1 month off ourselves in our business. So we're not running any Facebook sponsored ads. They don't need to be necessarily on all the time, but certainly having them on more consistently will make your brand top of mind with people, and that in effect works in a way where people take action with you at other times. So sometimes having them on more of the time, the same ad, no different pictures, but obviously from the same company. I don't do my own Facebook ads. I have a Facebook guy who does them for me, and I know that they always adjust copy. They're constantly testing and measuring. They're changing the pictures, the images. So what I would say is, I don't think it's a do-it-yourself task, to tell you the truth. I think Facebook ads are something that need to be learned. Like, certainly as a normal person, you can go in and set it all up and do all that. But I think having someone who knows what they're doing and is working in the background, constantly testing and measuring, he goes, yeah, I think I need to outsource that now. Yeah, I think so. It's worthwhile, because then you don't have to worry about it. You can just say, my guy creates my pages that people obviously take action on. He creates the funnel behind it, if there is a funnel of multiple steps, and obviously then manages the ad spend. He turns off ads on certain times where he thinks it would be just a waste of money. And then he puts them on at peak times, and increases the ad spend. If we're closer to an event and we have more money to spend, then he'll put more of a budget towards it. So he manages all of those things, which I think it's not a full-time job in itself, but it would require someone who doesn't know what they're doing, like myself, to be totally, sort of overwhelmed by it. All right, so a couple more questions online. Stacey, getting clients to reconnect for the next term. So is that a question, Stacey? How do you get clients to reconnect for the next term, or have you stopped? Have you stopped? Have some clients finished with you? I'm just curious. Just while you type that, I'll just answer Wendy's question. What process do you use when you meet a new person and get their business card? I basically just connect with them on Facebook, Wendy, and then on LinkedIn, and I send them a message to say, great to meet you at such and such event. And that's pretty much all that I do. That has to happen within pretty much 24 hours. At the worst, 48 hours of meeting them, because that way they won't remember me if I don't actually connect with them. And then I might even also invite them to join the Ultimate Business Support Group. From there on in, unless they're a really, really connection that I think would be beneficial to have a catch up with, I would, but that would only happen once in a blue moon. Otherwise, we just stay connected online, and they get to see me and I get to see them, and that's how we get to know each other over the period. Okay, so Stacey's just answered, yes, they have finished, but there is still some children in the centres that could benefit from my service. I don't know exactly what you do, so I don't know what you mean by the children in the centres. They have finished, but mm, 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 mm. So, do you have a childcare centre? I don't know if this is read and speech and language classes in kindy. Okay. So, you go to kindies and you do a read and speech and language classes for them. Okay. So then, is there so if there is children in there that could still benefit, could over the December and January period you have like a holiday program, so that you package up a holiday program, and once they have finished that holiday program in January, potentially then they start into the full year program. And if they take the holiday program, could you give them a slight little incentive or discount of them continuing on with the new year, if, as you say, with the next term. I don't know if people sign up with you per term, but that's a possibility to run, like, to finish up, say, your official program in the end of November, and then you have the holiday program which goes from December and January. Okay, so Stacey says, I run a holiday of essential skills. Okay, so just as long as what I find works really, really well in business is when we actually give people a nice little wrapped up package of what we do. Because that way they go, okay, well, I get X, Y, and Z, and it's going to go for this amount of time, and these are going to be the outcomes. And as long as people know what the outcome will be, so it's not sort of just random or extras or bonuses, and it's kind of like it finishes when it finishes. Like, wrap things up, package them up, add the value, and then people tend to go, okay, well, I do want my child to be in that kind of program. So I would call it program. So you call it, I run a holiday of essential skills. Maybe you call it the ultimate essential skills program, holiday program, something along those lines. And then the kids would get X, Y, Z, A, B, C, like how many things do they get to learn, like outline everything, what's in the curriculum, so that the parents also know that what they're getting. I hope that was helpful. I mean, I'm not a super expert in this niche. And kids who know essential life and social skills, 20 modules. Yep. Okay, cool. So there you go. So you could list out the modules and what they're called, and make sure that whatever you're listing out, that you're also speaking the language of the parents or the kids. Because if you're not speaking the language, then they might not even get it. So use very simple language and hypnotic words. So if you don't know what hypnotic words are, Google them and intertwine them in your promotional material for what you do. But for the other guys that are on the call, what I found always at this time of the year, as when I was mentoring one-on-one, a lot of people obviously maybe wanting to finish up, or perhaps we would have this break and then restart next year. And lots of things, people, you're welcome. Lots of people's mindsets change as the time goes on, or over that break, let's say. I always used to pre-frame and talk to my clients, already planning what we'll be achieving in the next year. So again, setting the intention, setting goals almost without officially sitting down and doing it, but always talking from October, November, what would be doing over the coming months, what does the break look like, and when we would restart. So I'd almost like paint a picture of what the following 4 or 5 months would look like, which gave them that continuity and mindset that, I wasn't thinking that we were finishing up, and perhaps we weren't. But even if you have a client, say, on a 12-month contract or agreement, whatever it is, and they've done 7 months with you by the end of the year, and they have 5 more months with you, then and sometimes things can change for that person as well. So even though you go, oh yeah, I've got clients for over that whole period, it's still the mindset changes. So you still have to treat it as if it's a finish and then a restart again. That's how I would treat it, and always like, say, well, this is what we'll be doing now, and and not pretend, but almost ignore the fact that there will be a break. And by you doing that, the client will be in that mindset that everything's just turning over again and again. So I hope that has been useful, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. So the last a few minutes, I always go through the things that are coming up next year. Just quickly to mention the fact that we still have some openings left in our Bums on Seats Mastermind, which will be a 12-month in-home at my place in Melbourne program where focused on running events. So we are going to be running 12 Thursdays in 2016, a Bums on Seats Mastermind, which is all about filling, promoting, preparing, and profiting from webinars, seminars, and retreats. And some of the days that is happening on, well, not some of the days, all of the days are starting from the 28th of January right through the 1st of December. So we're sort of avoiding the 2-month period where people are shutting down and restarting, and school holidays and all that sort of stuff. And some of the content that I have there, I'm showing those on Periscope. Now, this will also be available via live streaming, so via webinar style, just like we are now. And maybe we'll Periscope or use Zoom, other ways of, well, we won't Periscope because it is a paid program, of course. And it's done over 12 months because I believe people need to go away, do it, come back, get feedback, get accountability, and go back out and do it again. So for those of you that may be interested, you just need to randomly call me, as I've said, or email me down there at the bottom, and we can have a conversation if you're interested. We've already got quite a lot of people joined the live streaming, as well as we have got 5 spots left in the face-to-face, because the face-to-face is capped to 10 people. So we've got 5 locked in, 5 to go, and we will heavily start promoting this again after the Christmas period. So that's great. Thank you very much. Thank you, Stacey. I hope everyone has enjoyed the coffee chats this year. Merry Christmas, Karen. We will have an amazing break. You're off to Florida. Love it. And I'll see you in Queensland probably around April. But thank you. It's been wonderful. We've done 6 months of coffee chats. I have really enjoyed getting my week started. Thanks, Christine. You have a brilliant Christmas as well with your girls and man. And you're welcome. And you've been a very regular at our coffee chats every Monday morning, which is great. We've had so many people come and go and all of that. Merry Christmas, Davika, as well. You're welcome as well. And Merry Christmas from Jordan. Have an amazing time, guys. Enjoy the time with your